What is going on, you guys? Thought I'd make a quick video here. After a few of our recent videos, I've been getting questions about the setup that I'm on here. Is it a giant toy? No. Am I a giant child for using it? Probably. But beside the point, I thought I'd make a video here kind of breaking down the different parts, the pieces of the puzzle, if you will, if you wanted to try to get into this on your own. Sim racing has taken off exponentially in the past few months due to quarantine, COVID-19. Unfortunately, prices have kind of gone through the roof because of it, but popularity has exploded. Even my local autocross, legit real-life autocross league, is racing competitively now in iRacing, just to kind of fill in the gaps while nobody can get on the track, and to be honest, I love it. So I thought I'd make this video real quick to kind of run it down. If you guys want to create a setup of your own, these are the pieces that you have to put together. I guess the first piece that I've got to break down is, what am I sitting on? This seat here is actually out of a real car. It's out of my BMW E36. It was an extra seat that I had, so why not go ahead and hook it up to the simulator to make it as real as possible. The frame that supports it is much less fancy. It's comprised of a handful of 2x4s that I picked up at Home Depot and just assembled at the right height. Screwed it into a current desk that I had just to kind of keep everything together, keep me planted so that I'm not wobbling all around and shaking all over the place, and if it works, it works. Beyond that, to add a little more immersion, what I did is actually installed transducers into the bottom of the seat. Basically what those are is more or less people use them in home entertainment systems to simulate really strong bass. They don't really produce any like audible sound, they just produce bass. And thankfully, people have already created free software that translates what goes on in the game to the transducers. So for example, if you go over a rumble strip, your seat will shake. If you go over a cliff, it'll really shake. So it really kind of adds to the immersion factor. You can feel the gear actually go in and out of gear. So that's a nice little addition. Next up, we've got the pedals. The pedals are going to be extremely important. I'd argue as important as the wheel to be competitive in sim racing. What I'm running on this setup is the Fanatec load cell pedals, the CSLs. Great set of pedals. If you're going to buy a set, I would highly recommend forking out for load cell. Basically what that means, your normal run-of-the-mill cheap racing setup is going to have a brake setup where the farther you depress that pedal, that's the more brake action you're going to get. But if you've ever driven a real car, you know it's hydraulic, it's pressure. It's the harder you press that pedal, the more reaction you're going to get out of the car. So the load cell simulates that. So if I can just apply light pressure if I'm trying to trail brake through a corner. You can really kind of feel that bite point for cars that don't have ABS. So highly recommend that. Next up would be a shifter. Some people don't have it. If you only are looking to run formula cars, GT4, stuff like that. Unfortunately, a lot of that has gotten rid of the old H pattern, the manual, the clutch, all that, which I enjoy the most, honestly. I've got to have it. So what I run on mine is a simple Logitech. That's the oldest probably part of my rig, but what I've done is replace the actual gear knob with a legit gear knob from a real car, so it gives it just a little bit more feel, and the internals of it, they've got a little more resistance now. There's can't remember the guy's name, I'll have to put him in the description, but sells 3D printed inserts that just add a little bit more resistance, gives it a little bit more legit feel for that too. Kind of going along with the shifter too, what I have, largely just for drifting purposes, is the handbrake. Really got to have it for drifting. As long as you don't rely on it. There's a lot of debate on that, the best drifting techniques, but I love it. This was cheap on eBay, USB powered. Kind of have to set the dead zones on it a little bit so that it doesn't drag and that I get full engagement on it, but love it, love it. Wasn't even that expensive. I think those run like maybe 50 bucks on eBay, worth every penny. I guess the centerpiece, the actual wheel. What I run on here is a Fanatec CSL Elite. I can't say enough good things about Fanatec. Their stuff is top notch. Like, I've never felt a wheel this realistic in a video game. And honestly, you can see there, yeah, it even has a quick release on it. The wheel is actually nicer than the wheels I have in my real car, so unfortunately. But having the quick release is awesome. If I was able to get like an F1 style rim, I could do that, so I could just hot swap if I'm driving different cars and want to simulate different types of wheels for it. Really love this wheel, it's super strong, it really fights you. It gives a super realistic experience on that. I guess the next step is, how do I actually see it all? When I first started sim racing, I was just using a TV that I parked up right in front of the rig. It was good, it was great. You really lose the periphery. Somebody pulling up beside you, you can't really see it very well. Depth perception is a bit more difficult. So what I actually run now is Oculus virtual reality. I was able to pick up a Oculus headset secondhand, so it wasn't even too bad. But I cannot say enough. If you can handle the VR, some people it gives them motion sickness, dizziness. That does kind of go away the more you use it. But it has exponentially factored into the immersion you get out of this. I can actually look into the corners. I get a much better feel for distance, depth. If somebody's flying up beside me, I can see them out of my periphery and actually look. Drifting, I can see them get up on my doors. Now that I use virtual reality for racing, I could never go back, to be honest. It's a completely different ballgame once you get into virtual reality. And the only downside of that is you do need a fairly powerful computer to power it. Mine's nothing special. It's a Dell that I bought used and kind of have built up over time. This runs a 980 Ti graphics card on an i5, and that's enough to get the job done. I can't run high settings on everything, but honestly, it's good enough for me. So that really kind of completes all the pieces that you need to factor in to get into sim racing and sim drifting, sim anything that you want to do with the wheel. And honestly, I've had so much fun with it. I have, since quarantine has started, I've barely missed real driving. I've gone down this rabbit hole of sim racing that it is very similar to the real thing. Being that this is what I started on. Before I ever went out to a real track or attempted to drift in real life, I did it on the sim. To be honest, the skills that I built on here carry over completely to real life. I was able to do a lot of techniques pretty much first try. Like, it translated so well. You don't get a lot of that G-force, but the actual wheel movement, you build that muscle memory. You're not crossing up your hands. You're learning how to slide the wheel properly. I can't say enough good things about it. So if anybody's looking to get into it, feel free to shoot me a DM, leave a comment. I'll definitely break down the setup a little bit more for you. If you want to get on and race with us, drift with us, feel free to shoot us a message. For the most part, we go on competitively, we race iRacing. That's without a doubt the best if you're looking to actually have your stats tracked, have the most real racers out there that are going to be not banging into you once you license up and class up. It's really competitive racing, and there's a reason the pros use it. For drifting and things of that nature, we always run Assetto Corsa. I love Assetto. The physics in it are great, but really the best thing about it is the community. It's open source to mods, so people have modded just about every car, every track, everywhere you could want to drive. You could drift a S14 around a fucking Mario Kart track if you wanted to. It's nothing short of amazing. But yeah, feel free to hop out there with us. I'll probably make another follow-up video too. Second question after what is that is always, how much does it cost? So I'll definitely make another video breaking down entry level to your mid-grade to your high-end wheels, setups, sim setups that you can put together. So if you're interested in that too, you really know what you're getting into. I'll say it's way cheaper than real racing, but it's not cheap in general. So there's definitely ways you can go about it, and definitely things I've learned along the way. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop on. I'll show you guys what it actually looks like from behind the scenes here, so you can get a little taste of it, see if there's something you want to do. It's a lot of fun. Let's go. So we are now in virtual reality. We're inside of a Porsche Boxster S, and if you can't tell, like, everything in these cars is modeled. It looks amazing in VR. Like, I don't even use a heads-up display. You can straight read all of the instruments right on the dash. Adds another layer of immersion. Look at the mirrors. You kind of see your head tilting into it. Look around. We're in like a little town here. You could even, if you want to, in this, take it to the next level. You can step outside these cars. So if you wanted to check and see if there's any damage on the side, you can get out and look at the alignment of the car. You can look all around, honestly. Since the whole room is rendered, it's room scale, you could walk around the street. Yeah, just check out the car, check out everything around you. It's pretty crazy, pretty immersive. Just hop on back in. We didn't have the wheel on, but even in VR, I can feel where that goes. Yeah, it even simulates night and day cycle. You can see it's starting to get a little bit darker here, but everything just like a normal manual car. Put it into gear, slowly let out the clutch, and we're cruising through town. Like, this honestly is also even great for friends of mine. I tried to teach my girlfriend how to drive a manual transmission on here, and I think she's got it. I think that's another testament that everything kind of translates. Like, once you get that muscle memory, you can do it. Yeah, you can see, yeah, it's definitely starting to lose light here, but that's even another thing that they simulate on these, which is crazy, is the headlights. See the headlights clicking on and off. It even simulates weather. I can even show you. Yeah, if we want to. Just start pouring down rain. It's got wipers. You can even kind of hear the thunder in the distance. Yeah, everything in this is simulated. It is pretty crazy. Any conditions you want to do, any time of day you want to do, but I think we are going to put it back to a clear day real quick, and we are going to go back to the daytime. But yeah, like I said, even everything's rendered. You can see how the road is kind of cobblestone here. All that's translating right now into the chair. It actually knows. And right there where we transfer to smooth pavement, smooths out the rumble effects. It's really crazy how in-depth all of this is. It's kind of mind-blowing. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of feels like we're really just taking a nice Sunday drive here. You can look around in VR. You can really look into the corners. Like if you were driving with friends, which I do a lot of times on here, you can really see people coming up past you. Really takes it to that next level when you're driving in VR. Able to use the tachometer. A little bit of a corner there. But yeah, it really just adds to it when you have VR, friends you're playing with have VR, everybody's on setups like this. It really takes it to the next level. You can tell, like when I was saying, the leagues are even running on sim. Starts to feel real, just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. It feels real, and that's enough. That's enough that it makes it worth it. So if you guys are really trying to check this stuff out, like I said, hit me up. Other than that, I'm just gonna keep on ripping down this track a little bit. I'll catch you guys in the next one.